Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion here in the woods. As mentioned, we've had some bears. I don't want to say bear issues because they're not an issue to the other bears. They're not even an issue to me. Actually, I wouldn't care 1 ounce. It wasn't if I didn't have Giovanni with me because he kind of like charged to go play with them like little squeezy toys. Anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm thrilled to have this discussion today by this babbling little brook in the deep woods at the Notch. Not super deep because of the bears. Anyway, the partially deep woods at the Notch. To have this discussion on about not giving your power away. I think we all know that. Like, why would we voluntarily or like consciously say, "Oh yeah, here you go"? I mean, no, but we do it. We do it frequently. For some of us, it's every day or most days. We just give our power up. When we do that, we abandon ourselves. And there is no worse thing you can do to yourself than abandon yourself. And typically, those of us who have done this and struggled with this for a long time, or challenged with it, would know we would never ever abandon those we love. I mean, I'm super loyal. That is the top of my list for people in my life. That box has to be checked for anybody in my inner circle. Loyalty, honesty, and courage are my big ones. So anyway, but yet we don't do that with ourselves, and it's often in subtle ways. We talked about the fitting in versus belonging thing. Fitting in, we think, oh, that means I got my posse, I got my people, I go to lunch, I do this. It's actually, they're opposites. Fitting in and belonging are opposites. Fitting in means we are adjusting and changing who we are to be part of whoever's out here. And that is that's self-abandonment right there. Even if it's so super subtle in a conversation. Just not saying, oh, I don't really agree with that, or just not saying anything, or even just taking on the tone that the group has. It's self-abandonment, and the opposite of fitting in is belonging. Knowing that I belong to me in here. Doesn't matter what goes on out there. Doesn't mean it's not comfortable at times. Of course it's not comfortable at times. Though in the end, we know that we belong to us. So what I want to talk about too is, and if I almost thought about bringing my frame, the frame I use, because when we are residing in our frame, that's where our power is. It's when we start getting into the other people's frames, fitting in and being involved in their drama and their lives and all of that, and not authentically, because authentically caring is obviously different. But when we're in other people's frames, we are not in our place of power. We just aren't. And authentic power, man, is the bomb.com. The authentic power is where it's at. And here's the thing, I'll tell you, because here I have a pretty big contrast. I don't mind sharing with you because I've shared pretty much anything I can think of in my life all the way, so I know what it's like to not even be aware of it. So way back before I released my my parents, who did engaged in a lot of abusive behavior with me as a child, young adult, and adult, until I kind of got it and released them with love and kindness to go on their own way. So hear me, this is the before picture. I have to believe they did the best they can. So they're released, they're done. Way back before I was in this place though, when I was in college and shortly after college, and I would drive by New Paltz, New York, which is where I'm from, on exit 18, and I would go down to see friends in Jersey, which are obviously south of that, and my rooftop friend who lived right there. She lives actually one town over now, and I would get such a visceral throw up feeling. I mean, just driving by the exit. That's not to be like a sunny day. I was fine all the way up until like the exit before that, and pretty fine a couple extras after that, exits after that. But here's the thing, the town of New Paltz did nothing to me. Obviously, it's actually a very beautiful, picturesque, culturally rich, diverse hippie town with just lots of cool vibes going on. I mean, it's really a nice place. And I knew that. I knew, like, New Paltz has done nothing to me. Yet I was literally to physically throw up driving by the exit. And all kinds of thoughts going through my head. What if I bump into them? What if I, And it took a long time to work through that. And of course, obviously, my power wasn't being taken from me by exit 18 or a whole entire town or anything. My power was not being taken away from me. I was voluntarily giving it, not knowing so then. That was my younger self, and I just was voluntarily like jumping out of my frame. I wasn't even residing in my frame, to be truthful. I didn't even know what a frame was. I didn't even know that I get that, how great it was to reside in a frame. I had no consciousness at that time of a frame. I was living so far out of my frame. I was living in frames out here, in past frames with stuff that happened to me, future frames, all kinds of frames, and realizing that what I needed to say to myself, now my adult self says this, just like Glinda, the good witch of I think she's the North, right? You have no power here. You have no power here. Now, I've been in this place for a very long time, where I release them with love and kindness. Go with God, do your thing. They have no power here. And this is also true for you with whatever your life circumstances are. Even if it's not as deep as that turbulent, traumatic childhood thing, or if it is, whatever, if it's just maybe it's somebody who's not treating you as you should be treated. Maybe it's not this far over as that spectrum stuff, right? There's like full-blown abuse and trauma, and there's mistreated, and there's everywhere in between. But realize that you can be your own Glinda, good witch of the North, and tell yourself, even if you're in a conversation with somebody who's just mildly passive-aggressive at work, again, that's not to be big and huge and deep, but in your head you say, you have no power here. Or if they really kind of need to hear it, you can just say, pardon, you have no power here. You have no power here. You slide back into your frame, feel the perimeter of that beautiful frame. Picture your frame. Maybe it's laced with gold trim, maybe it's painted like by Picasso, maybe it's just super strong and sturdy and good like a rustic wood frame that it doesn't even match, it's just beautiful because it's authentic, came straight from the trees, wasn't sanded down or finished in any way. It can be any kind of frame you picture, colorful, beautiful, and strong and solid, and you are the owner of that frame. You are within your power. You are in, think of it with Oz, okay? With Oz. You have no power here. That's it. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the medium deep woods of northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.